Introducing Kicking Back with the Cooks, presented by Woodhouse. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Here's head coach John Cook, along with your host, Lauren Cook West.
Here we go, Kicking Back with the Cooks, October episode, and we are starting off with story time. Coach Cook, I love hearing your stories, but today I'm going to tell you a story. And the first snow of the season happened this morning. We're recording on October 12th, and we have probably like 2 to 3 inches of snow. So we wake up, we didn't know it was going to snow. We knew we were going to have some weather. We thought it may be rain. It ended up being snow. And this morning I get Madden out of bed and I tell her, we got to go look out the window. It snowed. So Madden we get out of bed. She goes and looks at the window. She's like, snow day, snow day. She's so excited. Then she proceeds to start taking off her clothes, pajama tops, pajama bottoms, underwear, the whole everything. So she's completely naked and opens the door and runs outside. I'm like, what are you doing? Are we working on Wim Hof breathing in the snow and the cold? Like, what is going on? And toddlers, they're wild, they're crazy. Sometimes I don't understand their thought process, but I thought that was hilarious. Did I ever do anything like that as a kid?
You would have to ask your mom, but I think your brother did. So, but it's no different than the dogs get the zoomies. Madden got the zoomies.
I know. So then we let Indy out, and Indy's our newest rescue dog, and she's from the south of Texas. So has never seen snow before. She's only a year old, so she's a baby, and she has been in Texas her whole life until she moved up here. So we let her out, and we have a back deck and then some stairs that go down to the grass. And normally she sprints out, does her business, comes back inside. She stays on the deck looking around like, what is this white stuff all over my grass? And then finally Henley goes down, our other dog, and so Indy follows her, and Indy's stepping in the snow, lifting her paws up, like, what the heck is this? And it is like limping around on 3 legs, trying to figure out how to walk. And then all of a sudden, the switch flipped and she just sprints. And she runs like a greyhound. We think she maybe has some sort of hound in her. So she's just doing the zoomies, doing sprints in circles around and around and around. And she's fast, but you're right. She had the zoomies. She was crazy. She loved it. And now she likes the snow. Yeah.
So there must be something about snow. I know it's cold, but there's something about it.
Do horses do anything? Did you check the camera, the baby monitor this morning?
Yeah, they're just all waiting to eat.
Okay.
Where's our food? So
they're not bothered by the snow?
No, they don't. It doesn't bother them.
I have another story for you. Yesterday, Madden and I went up and were with the horses, and Bud was getting new shoes on. And Bud you can maybe explain his special shoes, but Madden got to watch Bud get shoed. And she was very upset because she thought the farrier, the farrier was hurting Bud because he was hammering on his feet, and then he was using this big file. And Madden was really worked up because she thought this was hurting Bud. But meanwhile, Bud is half asleep on mom.
Yeah.
Barely can keep his eyes open and leaning on mom, falling asleep on her. And I'm like, Madden, Bud's fine. It's, it's just like when we file your nails, it doesn't hurt. I'm trying to explain it to her. But anyways, she enjoyed that.
Awesome.
So there you go. That's this month's episode. All the stories, we're done. I'm just kidding. Are you dressing up for Halloween? It's Halloween month.
No, I hate Halloween.
Will the girls dress up?
I'm sure they will.
Has there been talk?
Knowing this group, I'm sure they will.
Any ideas what they'll do?
No.
I feel like they usually have a theme. One year they did the coaching staff. Another year they did, I think it was like animals or something.
Yep.
They were butterflies and dragons and cows, and I don't know. They usually go with a theme.
Yeah. So I'm just happy when we get through Halloween and we're on. Usually we have to play on Halloween. I don't know what day of the week it is this year, but
Tuesday.
It's always a weird night.
Yeah, you're not playing.
Okay.
I made sure of it because I want to go trick-or-treating with Madden.
Oh, okay.
So I made sure I didn't have to, call any. Otherwise, I maybe would have called in sick. So we had I helped host the radio show with Jessica Cootie about a week or two ago, and we had a lot of questions come in, as you know, from the text line. We had calls that came in, and then I posted a question or a opportunity on Twitter, now I guess we call it X, asking fans for more questions for the radio show. And I said, if we don't get to them on the radio show, then we'll definitely get to them in the next episode of Kicking Back with the Cooks. So you're back in the hot seat. Are you ready to finish answering all of those questions?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Playing with fake nails. This is a big one. How do they do it? Fans want to know. And then I want to ask, you mentioned Bergen broken nail in the Michigan match. Did you ever end up having, you told us in the post game after the Michigan match that you were going to have a talk with the team. Did you ever end up having a talk with the team about maybe deciding against fake nails?
Yeah, we talked about it, and they say, oh, they never break. And Bergen was actually defending hers, that it wasn't actually the fake nail that broke, it was her real nail. So I'm like, she got a Cotton Merritt's, hair clip. So, I mean, these guys love it. I think it's therapy for them. So we may put in next year just to hire a full-time nail person, be with our team. So we have a trainer, nutritionist, strength coach, and a nail person for nail therapy.
Tech.
So
work in an NIL deal.
Yeah, I'm sure some of them have NIL deals. So
I'm sure you're right. With a spa.
Is it's like, it reminds me, it's like washing your car, and waxing your car. Looks really good. That's what it's like every week. They come in with these new nails, and they're just all buffed out, like shined up and ready to go.
Hey, what's the saying? Look good, feel good, good, play good, play good, pay good.
That's right. So
there you go. Hey, you're 15-0, so you might as well just let them stick with the fake nails.
That's right.
How do the girls, this also has to do with fashion and girl stuff, but how do the girls decide if they wear spandex or leggings? We've seen a few matches where Merritt, Harper, some players have worn leggings instead of the shorter spandex. Is that their decision? Is that, and I guess what goes behind that decision process?
Yeah, well, when we're on the road and play on a wood floor, we give them the option to wear the leggings. Because in our gym, training on TerraFlex, we have 2 TerraFlex floors that we train on, and we try to stay off the wood floor. We actually have another piece of TerraFlex that we put along the net just for cushion on jumps. So if somebody's training over there, like the middles will go train over there on a station, so they'll have TerraFlex to jump, land on and jump on, and but when we're on wood, your skin sticks to the wood when you go to the floor, and I almost feel like it would be almost come under hazing when we go to a wood floor, and the first few times they start going to the floor, it's like they stick and they're, ouch, that hurts. So we give them the option to wear leggings. It just helps them slide on the floor better on wood floors. So that's the decision on that. And and all you have to do is go look at their legs. They got bruises, bumps, scrapes. It's like they crashed on their bike almost. So they get pretty nicked up. But the TerraFlex is huge, and I can't believe that even anybody in the Big Ten anymore doesn't play or train on TerraFlex.
And then what is the deal with the high compression socks? I believe you guys have worn those for 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, we used to wear them back in the old days. And then the fashion statements, probably when you played, you guys didn't want to wear them anymore. So, but there's research now, and all you have to do is get old or travel, and you start learning how important compression socks are. And compression socks help push fluid as your body works and you develop, inflammation in your body. Your body creates fluid, and the compression socks help pump the fluid out of your ankles and your feet back up, and just keeps it recirculating. And again, whenever I go overseas flights, I always wear compression socks, and you don't get any swelling. They work awesome. And so it's just a way of, we believe, and it's also, it helps in that recovery part and keeping things moving. And then the other part of it is it helps protect their legs from going to the floor. So it's just, some more protection. So if they're wearing the the leggings, I think they just go down to their knees, and then the socks will come all the way up. So they're really protected from scraping along the floor.
When can we get the student section all together? And I want to add something before you answer this. I watched a clip, I think the Big Ten Volleyball put it out, and they were asking players their favorite away gym to play at, away arena, away gym. And a few players said Nebraska, but a couple other players said places like Penn State, Purdue, and their reasoning was because of the student section. They said it's a hostile environment. The student section's right on top of you. Illinois is another one. They're in your face, and it just puts a lot of pressure on you as a player. And so I think this is huge. Nebraska is definitely a difficult place to play at because we're always sold out. We have so many fans, but our student section is split up, and this has been a big topic of controversy, I guess, is what you could call it. And a lot of people want to see the student section come together.
Well, we've been working on it for years. We've been told there's some conflicts because some people would have to move their seats that they've had for a long time, and I would like to have the band and all the students in one section down there. So, but I've not been able to get it done, and we get told by the ticket office and development, and they just don't want to ruffle the feathers. But now that we've opened the door with the football stadium, I mean, that might be a great question for people to call in and ask Trev on his show. How could we get that done? And and we'll ask again in the spring, like how can we get that done? Because the students have reached out to me; they all want to be together, and we'd like to get them together. And so. Maybe the door's been opened a little bit now that we could look at that and find a way to make it happen and make it a win-win for everybody. And again, that's there's a lot of people that would be involved in making that happen. And so great question, and let's keep asking it.
Football gets a new training facility. They get a new stadium. What does volleyball get?
We've got everything we need. We have a beautiful facility.
You do.
And great training facility, great volleyball facility. We just added 400 seats in Devaney.
True.
So there's 400 people that were in standing room only now have seats. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if people have noticed, but they put in all these ribbon boards around Devaney. So I don't know if that enhances it, but it. How that works or what the fans think. We really don't notice it, but they're trying to continue to modernize Devaney and keep it fun and active. And we've put in, we're trying to do fun things during the match, and we come up with some ideas and some songs that we play, and the Red Kingdom, and we got the new one. I don't know if it's the squirrel or the rodent that does the yell. I've heard we've been doing it. I haven't paid attention to it because I'm wrapped up in the match. But so we're trying to continue to have fun things. We're working on something else right now with our team that hopefully, if it comes out really good, we can share that during matches as well.
Do opposing teams ever steal your serving signals?
Some places there'll be fans that'll signal to the team, but if they're doing that, great, then that's just a distraction for the other team if they're trying to follow the signals from the student sections behind us, looking at the stands up there. But I mean, some people try, yeah.
It's obvious that your team has excellent chemistry. Do you take that into account when recruiting?
I think it's culture and chemistry, or whatever you want to call it, is really, really important. And I think a big chunk of recruiting is recruiting the right people that fit in with what our culture is and what our team's trying to do. And so, yes, that is a definite question. And I feel really good about our recruits that our freshman class, obviously, and down the road coming in. I think there's the players that want to come here, I think they sense our culture and what it means to be a Nebraska volleyball player, and that's one of the reasons they want to come here. So yes, that helps them fit in really well and help continue to build our culture and keep it strong, and that gives you a chance to have great chemistry as a team. We also, as a coaching staff, have to do a good job of building roles and making everybody feel valued, and that's something we work really, really hard on. And that also helps develop great team chemistry and culture. And this year we've got the game changers. We've got the starting group, the game changers, and then in practice, if you're not on the starting side, then you're over there making as hard as you can on that starting side. And there's some days I worry if we lose our confidence because we can't have success like we normally do, because our side that is really pushing us and making it harder than a match is doing an awesome job.
What is the official ruling with power tips? It seems like it changes for every match.
It's a great question, Lauren. I'm on the rules committee. We just had a call yesterday. Of course, it never came up, but I've been sending clips to the head of the officials, and everybody's calling it different. Everybody's having a different interpretation. I know internationally there is a push to take it out of the game, which I think would help the game, would create more rallies, especially if you look at the men's game, because they really take advantage of it internationally. And so it's a judgment call, and everybody's got a different version of it. So if you can get away with it, and I look at, I think Andy Jackson gets called on some just because she's so high and up there. I think they just naturally call it, even though I see shorter players, they hold on to it, they take it behind their head way more than Andy does, and they don't get called. And so it's part of the game that we're going to need to get figured out, because it's, and then when you get in the NCAA tournament, do they call it tighter? Do they call it looser? It definitely gives advantage to players that are jump higher and are taller to throw it around like that. And so I'd like to see it taken out of the game.
Interesting. Speaking of officiating, when you have matches like you had at Indiana and Purdue with all of the green cards, do conference officials look into that, or does anyone hold those officials accountable? And this person said, I believe there is a system in place for football that they're comparing to, talking about that someone reviews the officiating after a football game. I'm not familiar with that. Are you familiar with that? And is there any process like that for volleyball?
Well, there's some of the people that are on the rules committee, officials. There's officials on there. They're constantly following all this. They know everything going on. They know when we have 9 green cards. They're aware of calls and things that happen, and they're constantly watching all that and monitoring it. The problem is with volleyball is there is a shortage of officials, and it probably doesn't pay like football or basketball does, so it's hard to get people that are available, that want to travel, because there's a lot of travel involved if you're refereeing Big Ten officials and or matches. And then same with SEC and Big 12, and now with these new conferences is going to be even crazier. So, but the other big thing is training and getting good quality lines people. And my theory is, and I've said this for years, if you look at where the lines people are, they're right on the corner of the court. It's the worst spot to be. If you look at internationally, they're never on the court. They're always way back, and they have 4. We try to get by with 2, and they're right on the court. It happens and the game's getting so fast, and the players are getting so physical, it's hard to see. And so, we got to do one of 2 things. We either have to go to four lines people and get them farther away, so it's easier for them to see, so they're not worried about getting hit. And again, it's right in front of them, so that's the worst spot to be. And then the second thing would be, we upgrade the camera systems like international, where some international matches don't even have lines people because they have the camera systems in, and so the official up there just has an iPad on a stand, and he can just look. You challenge it, he looks at his iPad, they replay it, and the decision's done in about 20 seconds. In or out, touch, no touch, boom. but they have the high-speed cameras. And that would be ideally the way to do it. And we've pushed the Big Ten to try to do it because, oh, guess what? They have high-speed cameras in football. They have high-speed cameras in basketball. So volleyball might be the most important, just as important sport in them because it's so fast and it's happening. It's so close. Think about it. Everything's, crammed on a 30 by 30 court. And so it would be really beneficial for volleyball. And there's a lot of really close plays that are happening. And, and again, tennis has it. I mean, Wimbledon, they've got all the camera systems and, those tennis matches. So hopefully that is coming soon, and the Big Ten will ante up and get it in everybody's gyms.
Do you realize how many attendance records you have been a part of at different schools since your Memorial Stadium match? And then why do you think that is?
Well, this year, the last 3 out of 4 matches, they broke attendance records. They're all on the road. That's the interesting thing. And, of course, I remember in the Big 12, I think when we were in the Big 12, we held every attendance record at every Big 12 school. So I think, one, it's Nebraska. Nebraska fans are trying to show up and get in. 2, I think that after the stadium match, we're seeing record crowds everywhere, and even Division II. So it's happening. I think in the Summit League, they're breaking attendance records. So I think the stadium match created this big, strong interest in volleyball and got a lot of people excited about going to watch volleyball, and we're seeing it across the country.
Why don't we utilize the jump top spin serve with any of our servers?
Caroline actually has a really good jump serve. And now the question is, how consistent can she be? But she hits it hard enough. You have to be able to hit it hard enough to create stress. And, the best jump server we've ever had was Sarah Pavin, who now floats on the beach. And when she went internationally, she floated because she couldn't hit it hard enough like the men do on a jump serve. And the other best one we had was Jordan Larson. And first thing when she went to the national team, they jumped her jump serve and made her go to a float because she just at that level couldn't hit it hard enough. And a good float serve will move more and create more problems for passers than a jump serve. But I will say I'm seeing more jump servers this year in college volleyball than we have in the last 5 years. I mean, a lot of teams now are jump serving. Look at Indiana. Sometimes they'll throw out 3 of the 6 servers will be jump servers.
Did you see Indiana beat Purdue?
Oh, yeah.
When was that? Last night?
Yeah.
Last night?
Indiana's good. Purdue's good. I told you, I'm saying everybody's good in the Big Ten. Rutgers beat Minnesota.
I know. We broke that news to you.
Yeah, you gotta bring your A game. You gotta show up. It's college volleyball is getting very, very competitive.
I hope they rank Indiana. They deserve to be ranked.
Yeah.
They're good.
Agree.
What goes into the decision making of when to sub someone in or out? And then what goes into the decision making of who to start on the left side, Allie or Lindsay?
Well, that's based on practice during the week, just like the middles are all based on practice, who's getting it done. And then it's just a gut feel. Sometimes you can tell. I see these guys every day that, okay, somebody's struggling, so we're going to put somebody else in. Sometimes you got to let them work through it. But it comes down to the most important thing is passing. We have to have our best passers out there. So that trumps everything.
Serve and pass, baby. By the way, how's serving going? Are we moving in the right direction? Are we cutting down on errors in practice? I know you say they serve well in practice, but is this going to start translating into games?
They do. That's the next jump for us. But last time we missed this many serves was 2015, and that year turned out pretty good.
It did. I'm ready to throw. There's been a few times I've almost taken my headset off and thrown it because I've been so frustrated with serving.
Yeah.
I've had to mute myself on the air.
I think we're getting
choice
better.
Words.
Yeah, I think we're getting better. But, only matters in the games. That's where we keep score.
Right. Did you ever look into Bergen's back sets, and were they going over her left eye, or was she not squared up?
No, her back sets are great. And we're just working a little bit more on her finishing over her right shoulder. So I think what you're seeing sometimes, she doesn't finish over her right shoulder, so she sets over her head, and that's what it looks like. So we're working on it, and she's doing great with it.
And then also with that question, even on off nights, you attack 300, and I know a lot of that's Bergen, but why or how does that happen? Maybe if you're not passing well, or you have some attacking errors, you guys still somehow find a way to hit above 300.
Right, and that's, when you've got 5 hitters that can kill the ball, it makes you hard to defend. Of course, if you're not passing, which is going to happen, 40 to 60% of the time, you're going to be in what's called medium system or out of system, and then you have to have an offense to do that. And we work really hard on that. And again, if you got great hitters, they'll find ways to get kills even though you're out of system. Now, it's harder, but it's something that we're working on, and we're trying to master. And as we say, when we're out of system, we're in system. So for us, it's just normal. We work on it every day. We put them in those situations, and how are you going to get a kill?
If someone would have asked you in the spring if you would have been 15-0 at this point, would you have believed them?
No, I don't look at this or that or records or anything. All I know is we're going this weekend. We're 0-0. We're in week 4 of the Big Ten. We're trying to play at a high level every night, and that's our job. And we're just got our head down. We're not worried about that stuff. So once you start paying attention to that stuff or looking at it or saying, well, we should be this or that, you're getting distracted from what you need to do to be successful. And so we're just trying to do everything we can to get better every week and give us the best chance to be successful when we play matches. Any
funny stories from so far this season with players or stuff that's happened on the team? You usually I feel like you've had a couple in the past years.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is with Jordan back, they're all scared to death of her. they're all like, oh my God, this is what they'll tell me. Oh my God, I grew up watching her, and now she's coaching me in the gym. I can't believe this. I grew up idolizing her. I wanted to be her. And
yeah.
And so that's been the kind of the biggest theme this week and last couple of weeks, just having her back. Trying to think of any funny stories.
I feel like the equivalent of Jordan Larson is if you're a part of a band and Taylor Swift comes in to coach you.
Yeah.
That's what this is. You're part of a volleyball team and Jordan Larson comes in to coach you.
Yep. That's a good example. Trying to think where we were at Purdue, Indiana. Yeah. I don't know. The other thing, just hearing them say some of the things that the student section says to them, especially the freshmen for their first time,
oh boy,
they were saying this and they were saying that, and it's all good. Once it gets bad, then I'll get involved. But just hearing their reactions to being on the road in some of these places, so there's some comedy in that, but.
I remember at Ohio State, back when I played, we were running into the locker room and there was a piece of paper on the ground and we were looking at it because it was on the way to the locker room, and it was a printout for the student section, and it listed each player for Nebraska and what chants or cheers to say when they were, or not cheers, chants, or what to say when they were back there serving. And I thought, the fact that someone or multiple people from the student section put the time and effort together and the creativity and then pass this out to the student section, I was impressed.
Yeah, no, I've seen that a couple of places do that. What do you remember they called you or said to you?
I think they would always say like daddy's girl, or I remember it was always something that involved you.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy? Yeah, that. Yeah. But Illinois, they do a really good job. Their student section, they have some creative things that they do as well.
Yeah. No, it's fun, and as we get used to it, it's more fun for our players too. As long as everything's, it doesn't become personal or
appropriate. Yeah. I want to leave you with this question. What is your stress level at this point in the season, or what is the most stressful part of the season for you? The beginning, the Big Ten, or postseason?
I don't know. Every week has its stress levels. There's just challenges every week. So whether we're in preseason trying to figure out starting lineups, to now we're trying to figure out how to win matches, to keep everybody fired up, keep them motivated, figure out how long do we practice, what do we do we need to change it up? That's what I stress about, is each day, how do we max out each day? And that's kind of, I wake up thinking about it, like, what do we have to do to be great today? What does our team need today? What does the staff need today? So, it's part of the job. I don't know if I'd call it stress, but it's just part of the job, and it's a grind, and you're doing that every day, and you're doing it 7 days a week. That's the other thing. It's hard to take a break. It's hard to shut it down, but that's why, I try to go rope and ride, so we get 1 day a week. We should post my late. I had a really good roping session the other night. We should post a video on there. So
you didn't miss?
Oh, I missed, but I had a couple really good ones. So we could post one of those on there. Maybe Nick can make that happen.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen, Nick.
Yeah.
Has anything surprised you so far this season?
I don't know. I don't think about those things, because there's always surprises. But, that's just part of being around a group of people and trying to perform at a high level. I mean, things are going to happen. But nothing that stands out right now. So sorry this is so boring, but.
This is boring. Well, what's not boring is confession and lesson. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at, baby. So I'll give a lesson. Okay. We're going to break it up this week, and you have to give a confession. Okay. But I have a really good lesson. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Trust creates peace. It's short, it's sweet, it's simple, but think about it. You trust your training, you're going to play at ease. If you trust your teammates, you're going to play with great chemistry. And I think all of that is peace in a way, because it's harmony. You're playing together. You're taking care of, you're doing your job on the court if you're trusting your training. And if the players trust the coaches, then there's not going to be, if they trust you and you trust them, then there's not going to be a worry or stress there. It's just more peaceful playing environment.
That's good. You also know the word trust has the letters US next to each other for us.
Love that. Yeah. You know where I got that? I was drinking, have you ever had yogi tea?
Yeah.
Yeah. They put little quotes on their tea. What are those called? The tea bags. Yeah. On the tea bags. And I always love reading them. Some are kind of cheesy and weird and I don't understand. And then others are really good. And I read that and I immediately thought that applies to volleyball in so many ways.
So, well, good. Good.
There you go. That's my lesson for the day. Okay, now, your confession for the day.
My confession for the day will be I have a hard time deciding what to wear for matches, and I just wasn't feeling my wardrobe, so I called you to call Gary Michaels, and now I'm waiting on my new custom shirt. Because like I said, you feel good, you play good. Feel good, you coach good. You coach good, they pay good. Hopefully. So.
Hopefully, yeah. Did you get the text that I sent that their shirts are in?
I'm waiting. We're ready to go. I've got my helpers ready to go. We're ready to go. Just waiting for the call.
Here's another story for you. So I called Gary. He's the man. Runs Gary Michael Clothers. He's the best. If you need shirts, slacks, anything, go to him. But I call him. I'm like, hey, we need to do this. I need you to send me pictures of samples of fabric. We need to pick something out. And he sent me like 15 different swatches. And I'm indecisive. So I'm trying to go, it took me hours to go through these and try and figure out which ones would look best on you, which ones I liked best. So I got it narrowed down. I sent some to you just to make sure you were okay with them. And then we ended up deciding on the final picks. And then he has someone who puts the old Coliseum logo on them, which I love that logo. I don't know why you guys ever went away. I mean, probably because you moved out of the Coliseum, but I wish you could still use that logo in a sense. Maybe read a new one for Devaney and put it similar to the Coliseum one.
Yeah.
But they're putting that on them, and you're going to debut him here, and hopefully in a week or two, a couple weeks, maybe for the Wisconsin match.
I'm hoping we get him. I'm hoping we get him by tomorrow. So,
maybe.
So, but anyway, that was my confession. There. How's that?
Love it. The girls are going to go crazy when they see new shirts.
Yeah. No, they like it.
I love their reaction.
Yeah, they like it when you deck it out. So.
Well, you've been wearing just a half zip and slacks and tennis shoes. You're getting boring on us.
That's all Adidas. Adidas made some great stuff this year. Really cool stuff.
Adidas has upped their games. But speaking of outfits, there's a coach for Indiana that was in a ball cap while he was coaching.
Yeah.
A hat.
Don't get me started.
Well, JB and I were off the air, and I'm like, JB, have you ever seen that before? He goes, no, never. And JB's been doing this longer than you have.
Right.
He's been calling volleyball matches for 30 years.
Right.
And then he kept making comments on the air like, oh yeah, Steve Aird looks like he's about to go to the gym and pump some iron. Because he's just in a hoodie and sweats.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny to see how differently all coaches dress.
Yep. So, well, anyway, we're trying not to overdress, but look sharp.
There you go. Love that. We'll end there. So Coach Cook, thank you so much for your time. Russ Brown, thank you for producing this one. Nick Burkhart for editing it. And to all of our fans, Husker Nation, we love you. Thank you for tuning in, for supporting us, for watching this. And we will see you again next month. Go Big Red.